It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this Thursday, the 5th day of January, 2023. Coming to you from Bedford County, Central Virginia area. Welcome aboard. Top story this morning, 877 pounds of cocaine seized on a ferry in San Juan. A man spotted in the water, rescued by Disney Dream. Samantha Brown's Places to Love returns to PBS tomorrow. Another company goes with Starlink. Getaway trims another port call for sustainability. Voyager, the Seas Cancels Progresso. And Venezuela receives their first European cruise ship in 15 years. That and lots more here live at 11 o'clock this morning. It's a little bit unusual, folks. Today is National Bird Day. And keeping in mind that this National Bird Day, now some of you have seen the cockatoo that I've showed you that's taken up residence on Elizabeth's balcony down there in Sydney, Australia. Well, she's got a new guest. Yeah, this little fella started coming in a couple days ago. And then this was out in her yard. So that goes pretty well with National Bird Day. Of course, that's down in Sydney, Australia. If you're listening by the podcast, welcome aboard. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. So that will work. Anytime you're listening to the podcast, you can always hop over to check out the video feed if you want to take a look at clips or pictures. There's always a link in the description to the podcast to do just that. And you can click over, take a look at the pictures, and click right back to your podcast. That's okay. All right. Before we get to the news for the day, a couple of things I'd like to announce. Of course, this afternoon is the Cruise Amigos. That's at 1 o'clock my time. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock my time, I will be a guest on Melissa's show over there in the UK. That's at 7 o'clock GMT. That's tomorrow evening. And then Saturday at 6 o'clock my time, that's 11 o'clock over in GMT, Justin, Mr. Bucket List, and Pete and I will be together for a live stream as we talk about the upcoming details on Passion for Cruises USA solo cruise opportunities. And that will be on Saturday. So I've got a busy couple days ahead. Before we get to the news, however, this morning, I do want to talk to you a little bit about SRN Travel Agent Partner Program from Scootaround. If you're a travel agent, guys, and you're not actively using Scootaround, you need to. It doesn't cost anything for you to apply to the program, get an SRN number. And any of your folks that are mobility challenged on up to full disabilities that you have traveling can use their services, and you can make a little commission on the side. Scootaround Travel Agent Partner Program provides commission to members of the travel and hospitality industry when they refer successful vacation rentals to Scootaround's wheelchair, mobility scooter, power chair, and oxygen rental service. The Travel Agent Partner Program provides affiliates with the Scootaround award number, that's the SRN number, and is free to anyone who works in the concierge hospitality or travel industry, including hotel chains, travel agents, transportation providers, and hospitals. We accept bookings up to a year in advance. I talk all the time about Scootaround and what they meant to me and continue to mean to me. They're the reason I can do what I do today. I couldn't do it without them. So, if you're a travel agent, you need to put this in your belt of bullets to fire. They're great people to work with. All right. I'll be back with today's news. We'll talk about millions of dollars right off the bat after a quick word from one of our network sponsors. All right, we got to travel down to San Juan, Puerto Rico. U.S. Customs officials seized a total of 877 pounds of cocaine concealed on board a Caribbean ferry boat in a single bust this past week. Customs and Border Protection revealed the value of the cocaine was estimated at $9.1 million. In a statement, the Port of Entry Director for Puerto Rico, Roberto Vaquero, said their experienced CBP officers, that of course is Customs and Border Protection officers, remain vigilant, utilizing their training and available tools to stop dangerous drugs from entering the country. Earlier in the week, during a routine cargo inspection inside the MV Kaidan, Customs and Border Protection officers observed anomalies in a cargo platform transporting metal rods. CPB officers removed a board covering the floor of the cargo platform, and several rectangular plastic-covered brick-shaped bundles were found. They discovered 355 tightly wrapped packages the size of bricks. The contents tested positive for cocaine. Registered in the Bahamas, the boat regularly transits through the Caribbean Sea between Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, authorities said. So far this fiscal year, U.S. officials in South Florida have seen a 400% increase in migrant encounters compared to the same period last year. Officials based out of Miami have tracked or disrupted 26 human smuggling events involving 600 migrants in the past 5 days alone. The transnational criminal organizations facilitating human smuggling are often the same groups that traffic weapons and drugs, U.S. officials said. The one thing that I found interesting from the story, folks, is that, and I checked this from like 5 different sources, totally independent sources. One, to confirm the story. None of the sources mentioned anything about arrests. I don't know if that was an oversight from the people that wrote the stories or if nobody was arrested. I mean, surely, to goodness, they recovered that kind of cocaine. They arrested somebody. And maybe not. Maybe it's an ongoing investigation. But anyway, because I kept going back and looking and saying, wait a minute, why isn't the rest of this information here? I can't answer that one, folks. But I did confirm the story. This actually happened. So, unbelievable. All right. This is a strange one. You know, we've talked numerous times about rescues, especially this past week when there were, 4 in 48 hours or something. The crew of the Disney Dream needed to launch an urgent rescue operation during the ship's Caribbean voyage. A man was spotted struggling in the water off the coast of Cuba, and the ship had to divert course to investigate. At the time, the Disney cruise ship was sailing between the cruise line's private island of Castaway Cay in the Bahamas and Cozumel in Mexico. Disney Dream had to come to a halt, and the crew launched a rescue operation using one of the ship's tenders. The 29-year-old male was safely pulled aboard and brought to the Disney Dream cruise ship. According to passengers on board, the Cuban Coast Guard later picked up the man from the Disney cruise and took him back to the mainland. The man was fortunate to have been spotted as one of many rescued over the past week by multiple cruise ships. The Disney Dream is currently sailing a 5-night Caribbean itinerary that departed Miami on January 2nd. Following the rescue off the coast of Cuba, the vessel continued on en route toward its second port of call in Cozumel, where the ship was scheduled to arrive today. There wasn't any explanation as to how this guy got out in the water. I mean, did he swim? Was he trying to swim to Miami? I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't think he'd been out in the water for a couple days, having been one of the people that was rescued earlier, over that 48-hour period when there was a bunch of rescues. And then it was interesting, according to the reports from on board, that the individual was turned over to Cuba Coast Guard. Now, I've never been on a ship that did a rescue, but I was under the assumption that the U.S. Coast Guard took control of the folks. Now, I have not been able to confirm or deny that the Cuban Coast Guard, but I wasn't aware that we were in contact with Cuban vessels. I don't know about that one, guys. I'm just reporting what came on the story, but still, we need some clarification on that deal. At least I do. All right. I don't know how many of you guys have, over the years, have watched Samantha Brown, host of PBS two-time Emmy-winning series, Samantha Brown's Places to Love. She returns with the show's 6th season starting tomorrow. You'll need to check your local listings for exact dates and times. More than just a travel expert, Samantha has been a trusted guide and friend to viewers for 20 years, helping her audience choose their next destinations by revealing the people and stories behind the places she loves to visit. As I understand, this first show was a cruise on the Inside Passage of Alaska. Samantha and her family set sail on one of Holland America's cruises, about the Alaskan natives who have lived on their land and sustained their culture for close to 10,000 years through fishing, language, jewelry making, and more. You can follow Samantha on her website, which is samanthabrown.com, on Instagram at Samantha Brown's Travels, Facebook, Real Samantha Brown, and at Samantha Brown on Twitter. Over the past year, Holland America has watched as the world continues to open its doors and travelers set out on vacations, many sailing with the line on a bucket list cruise to Alaska. We're excited to showcase the beauty and splendor of Alaska in Samantha's next season of Places to Love, as we support her passion for showcasing global destinations. So said Gus Santorsha, president of Holland American Cruise Line. So, folks, do some checking, see how it's being shown in your area. It's always worthy of your time. I like Samantha Brown. I've watched her over the years a number of times. So, all right, the next ship to use Starlink. This one is kind of surprising, and again, this company keeps coming up in my radar. Guests sailing on board riverboats and cruise ships operated by American Cruise Lines will enjoy complimentary internet on board this year. The U.S.-based cruise company announced this week it installed Starlink internet connectivity on board all its vessels, which will be available to all guests at no extra charge. Starlink is a satellite internet signal developed by SpaceX that aims to provide high-speed, low-latency internet access to customers worldwide. One of the key markets for Starlink is maritime internet, with the company targeting cruise ships and other vessels that are often out of range of traditional internet. Starlink's satellite constellation is designed to provide reliable coverage in even the most remote and inaccessible areas, making it an ideal solution for cruise companies such as American Cruise Line, guests who need to stay connected while sailing. And you know, American Cruise Line is the company that has contracted for, I believe it's 16 new river cruise ships that will be accessible. The first 3 will be on the water during 2023. And I find it very interesting to look further and investigate an accessible river cruise. We'll see. All right, we talked a couple days ago about Norwegian Getaway. Norwegian Cruise Line has made another itinerary change for the Getaway as part of the company's commitment to sustainability. While this change is a simple one, removing just 1 hour from a port of call, it may signal a disturbing trend that could have stronger ramifications for cruise travelers. Norwegian Getaway's January 20th sailing is a 12-night round-trip Caribbean itinerary from New York. The ship is scheduled to visit San Juan, Puerto Rico on Monday, January 23rd, originally docked from 4 to 10:30 p.m. The cruise line has reached out to booked guests to notify them that the Breakaway class ship will now leave San Juan 1 hour earlier at 9:30 p.m. As part of our global sustainability program, Sail and Sustain, we are continually seeking opportunities to reduce our overall carbon footprint and recently committed to pursuing net zero greenhouse gas emissions across our operations and value chain by 2050, the email read, as did the last one, word for word. To support this mission, we have optimized our arrival and departure times. Now, on this particular cruise, they're cutting 1 hour out of one port of call. They're not cutting the same hour out of every visit in San Juan by the Getaway. I'm not sure I buy this sustainability situation when they're doing, dribbles and drabs, a little piece here, a little piece there. Admittedly, slower speeds can reduce cruise ship emissions, and that's terrific. Why trim this specific port of call? Guests were scheduled for 6.5 hours in San Juan. Now it's 5.5. Other ports of call on that itinerary were longer: 7 hours in St. Kitts, 9 hours in St. Lucia, 9 hours in Barbados, 9 hours in Antigua, 8 hours in St. Thomas, 7 hours in Puerto Plata. Why the hour out of San Juan? I don't know. There has been some speculation that shortening a port of call will not only reduce emissions, but may also improve onboard revenue, as guests can use the extra hour in the casino, in retail shops and specialty restaurants, and at bars and lounges, all of which can help improve the cruise line's bottom line. That actually sounds more likely to me. I'm not the one doing the speculating, but there's just some, it just smells to me. And I'm not opposed to what they're trying to do in reducing the carbon footprint at all. But if you want to do it, then do it. Don't screw around like this, an hour here and a port there. At all. And this one, I was a little bit fussing at Norwegian, and I got to fuss a little bit at Royal Caribbean. This one makes no sense. Royal Caribbean International has contacted guests booked aboard Voyager the Seas about an itinerary change due to the ship's size. I guess the people that schedule things don't know what size the ship is, because they've removed the visit to Progresso, Mexico, because the ship's too big. Instead, they're replacing it with an overnight call in Cozumel. Well, now, an overnight call in Cozumel, for me, would be wonderful, because I have folks there, people there that I could spend some time with. But not all cruise travelers have that option. And I'm not sure, traveling around Cozumel at night is maybe the best things for cruise passengers to do. Anyway, while just one itinerary has been confirmed as changed, it's likely to change. This change may impact other sailings for the ship. The original itinerary called for the ship to set sail on Monday, February the 5th, spend one day at sea, enjoy the port visit in Progresso on the Yucatan Peninsula on Wednesday, enjoy Cozumel on Thursday, then a day at sea, and back to Galveston on Saturday. That's just a normal 5-day cruise. Now the guests have been informed that the call in Progresso won't be happening. Unfortunately, Yucatan is unable to accommodate a ship of our size. This is Voyager the Seas, folks. This is not Anthem of the Seas. This is not Symphony of the Seas. This is one of their smallest ships. Will now stay overnight in Cozumel instead, the email read. Because the reason given for the itinerary change is that the port is unable to accommodate a ship of our size, it is possible that more than just February 5th may be impacted. Duh. Voyager the Seas will be home port in Galveston from May 23 through April 24, offering 4 and 5 night Western Caribbean sailings. Occasional 6-night sailings is thrown in as well. Now, somebody scheduling this thing did not know the size of the ship that Progresso could take? Or is that some other phony baloney excuse? Adventure of the Seas goes to Progresso, or is scheduled to go to Progresso, and that's the same size, I think. So If Voyager of the Seas can't go to Progresso, does that mean Adventure of the Seas can't go to Progresso either? Then, okay, if that's the case, then change all of them. Get it done. Don't do it one cruise at a time. If that's not the reason and there's some other reason, I mean, hell, and Progresso, that pier's 4 miles long, for God's sakes. I don't know. This one just, hey, I don't like when the cruise companies aren't honest with us, and this appears to be another case where they're just aren't being honest. At least it sure seems like it stinks to me. Larger vessels require deeper water. Well, of course they do. But we're not talking about the huge ships, for heaven's sakes. We're talking about what in today's world is not a small ship. These are, I mean, they're good sized ships, but they're clearly not the biggest ships afloat now. I don't know. I just, both of these stories just stink to me. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. Tell me where my thinking's screwed up. I'm happy to accept that I can be screwed up. There's no doubt about it. Anyway. All right, Venezuela. Haven't had cruises to Venezuela forever, at least from Europe. Of course, they're still not coming from the States. On Tuesday, Venezuela received its first European cruise in 15 years. The country has long avoided the tourists due to high levels of insecurity and economic turmoil. The Bahamas flagship Amadea docked at Margarita Island with 500 passengers from Spain, France, Italy, Germany, and Switzerland. The Venezuelan tourism minister welcomed the historic docking and said that for many years, Venezuela has been off the radar of cruise ships. I have no problem at all if this gets going and it's safe and they develop a port for tourists to go to. Terrific. And do all the things that ports of call have: excursions and places to go, places to eat, places to drink. I'd love to go to Venezuela personally. But I mean, we're not there yet, at least for the U.S. market. But I think it's terrific if we head in that direction. But I think Venezuela's got to, they got to do some work too. That's a strange morning today. All right, that's going to wrap up the news portion of the show. I'm sure somebody's fussing at me today, which I probably deserve, but then that's okay too. Let's see who's over in the chat room. Hi there, Tom is with us. I was thinking about you last night. Hi there, Tom. You realize on this 90-day excursion that you and I are going on, I know it's not 90 days. It's 30 days, though. You realize when we do this, I'm going to need you to do some filming for me. I'm going to need you to carry the camera around some and, shoot stuff that I'm doing instead of all shooting yourself. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to this. I wish 2025 would get here, quite frankly. By the way, speaking of 2025, folks, I'm going to say this in the first part of the show, and I got sidetracked with Elizabeth's bird pictures and, So the funding for my $11,000 a month medical bulls, got approved yesterday. So it looks like, folks, I'm going to survive 12 more months. You're going to have to put up with me. So get used to it. Kenneth's with us. Hey, Kenneth, I'm working in the barn with the horses. Well, I'm glad you're out with the. Hell, it's too damn cold to do that, Kenneth. Well, maybe it's not in the barn. It's pretty cold to be working with horses, Kenneth. It is. I know you up there in Pennsylvania, you're used to it, where I'm not. Sonny's with us. Says hi, everybody. Cindy's here. Good morning. Looking at 2025 cruises there. I was just talking about it. Trying Celebrity Ascent, the Edge class. Anyone ever do Infinite Sunset Veranda? Nope. On that class loft. Anything special I should know for Celebrity? Celebrity. My friends are on Celebrity right now, and they love it. That's Sue and Barry that I've cruised with a couple times now. Sue's been a guest on this show as one of my gambling experts. That's one of the big time casino players. And she is absolutely has fallen in love with Celebrity. And I mean, they cruise a lot. So, you know, she's got good background. She's cruised virtually on everybody, but they just absolutely are raving about Celebrity. So, excuse me. I don't know anything about the veranda, the Sunset Veranda business, but it's got to be for Celebrity. It's got to be awesome. I would imagine that would be a little expensive, but you know, that's, I mean, I think it would be cool. I love all the veranda, the infinite stuff, like the infinite pools and all that. I think they're awesome. They're great. So a veranda, boy, that's got to be sensational. Robert's with us. Hi, Robert. Sonny wants to know how many horses, Kenneth? Robin and I have 2 horses, 1 thoroughbred, 1 quarter horse. I used to do some riding, Kenneth. I mean, even after my fat days, I did some riding. I had a girlfriend that was a horse. She was a hunter. Now, I never got to where I could jump, but I've done some riding in my day. And here, as I grew up as a kid, you know, that was in the 1800s, we had a couple horses here on the farm. My cousins had. I had a cousin that was my age, and one that's 2 years older. Matter of fact, he still lives right up the lane here. And they had horses, and you know, I've come down here as a kid numerous times and ridden with them. I love horses. And then with the pet sitting business of my nieces, one of the clients that I took care of almost exclusively for her for a couple of years had miniatures. And I just loved working with the miniature horses. They were great. So I've mucked my share of stalls and done plenty of feeding horses and plenty of pitching hay. Yeah. So Katie's with us. Good morning, Katie. Having my lunch and enjoying some cruise news. Glad to have you as always, Katie. You're getting ready to go on a shorty. That's wonderful. Sonny says, I'd love to have horses. I don't know at my age, Sonny, if I would want to tackle that responsibility now, but I've sure enjoyed it over the years. I mean, now it'd be virtually impossible for me to get around, you know, a barn and get to the barn now with my mobility challenges. But yeah, it's been a lot of enjoyment for me. even taking care of other people's horses. And that was a pretty regular gig where she had three dogs and a cat, and the miniature horses. So I had a pretty good gig there, and she traveled quite a bit. And I'd stay out there at her place, which was terrific. She had a nice pool as well. So I might be out there for 10 days, 2 weeks at a time, taking care of her animals, and then she'd be gone again, and I'd go out there for another little stretch. Her son was a pilot. Matter of fact, he's been on the show before too. He does a lot of flying in the Bahamas. So she had the chance to fly to Florida or the Bahamas pretty much anytime she wanted to. But yeah, that's I like the horses. I enjoy them. I wish I could do stuff like that anymore. That's one of the things I miss the most, I guess, with my infirmities and disabilities now. Is I just there's times that I can't do what I want to do because I can't get there, and that's the part of it that sucks. Cruises, that's a different story. I can do fine on cruise ships even that have accessibility issues. I'll still make my way around. I can get to and from cruises now. By the way, another little bit of news on cruises that I failed to share. Yesterday, I made the trip to DMV here in Virginia and got my permanent handicap license tags. Some of you may or may not know that in Florida, if you have handicap license plates, you can park free at all the ports. Free. Zero. But the hanging down thing on the mirror that I've had for years, what's about 7, 8 years now? 9 years now. They won't accept the hanging down thing. You got to have permanent license plates. So when I went to my doctor here, last week, I said, okay, doc, let's kick out the paperwork. Let's make it permanent now. And he said, well, I got no problem with that. I said, well, okay. So they did the paperwork, and I took it to DMV and walked out of there with my new plates. So now when I drive to Florida, at least, I don't know about other ports, and it might be the same at other ports, but I've never checked on it because I didn't have any reason to. But now that's a possibility. Of course, I still have the issue that I have to get from wherever I park the car to wherever I either get the scooter or get wheelchair. So there might still be issues with that I have to overcome. At the absolute worst, if I could drop my suitcase off, and if it's not too awfully far to handicap parking, then maybe I could do it with a walker, even if I have to, take an hour to do 20, 30 feet at a time and stop and get my breath. I don't know. Well, we'll see. I got to work around the issue, but now I can get free parking. Of course, I've been doing pretty well with the parking at the hotels and stuff, but sometimes I pay for it. Sometimes they give it to me. So anyway, my next cruise, I'm flying, so that's not going to be an issue. I don't think I'm flying out of Richmond, and I don't think Richmond Airport has any specialty things for handicap, but I haven't checked on that. But if I remember correctly, Hot Air Tom told me at one time that they didn't. So we'll see. Amy's with us. Hi, Amy. Amy, when's your next cruise? You tend to go on cruises that I don't know about, or I have, because I don't track you that closely. So when's your next cruise? Sonny says free internet. That's a good promotion. Yeah. That's what as soon as I saw that, Sonny, I said, sweet. There's just something about, and Christy Durso that I've had on several times, and then I spent a good bit of New Year's Eve with Christy also. She's not a big fan of American. Now, I don't know if it's American, the old American, or because the new ships that are accessible are not out yet. The first 3 are coming out this year. Let's see, how accessible is. That we don't know yet. And that's one of the things that I'm learning from Christy is what's accessible for me as a scooter user may not be accessible for a manual wheelchair user. And possibly there could be electric wheelchairs that are not. I mean, there's more crossover in problems than I was aware of. So, I've got to expand my thinking as well on the accessibility issues. But she's mentioned a couple times to me, and several times we've talked, that she's not a big fan of American, and she's never really said why. I have a feeling it's because there's a lot of their ships are just not accessible. Would be my guess. But we'll see. Kenneth says if you're ever near him, stop and see him. That's a great idea. He's out Pennsylvania. Carnival raised their internet prices. Yeah, I was tempted to use that on the source. Everybody else has done it, and I said, nah, I'm tired of everybody's raising their internet and their gratuities. So yeah, I think Americans got something here. That's a service they're going to provide to their customers. I think more cruise lines need to go that direction. Especially, I mean, I hate to say this, but, they do nothing for those of us like me that are content providers that work a ship, that film all kinds of crap to help promote their cruises. I mean, I do my shows on board. You guys are probably all sick of doing little short videos that I keep throwing up every day. I mean, I did one this morning, a jogging track tour. I did a lap around a jogging track. Oh yeah, it's nice to see the jogging track on the ship. But what the hell? That's not any, earth-shaking content. But still, it's promoting the cruise line and the cruise. Even though I had issues with, accessibility issues with them, I'm not going to down the cruise line because there's a lot about that cruise I loved. The same thing about the Seascape. Yeah, I had accessibility issues. A lot of them. It doesn't make the cruise bad. It means that they're just not really good with handicapped folks yet. We'll work on that. NCL Escape Cruise in March had 1 hour taken off St. Thomas and 1 hour added to Puerto Plata. It was on numerous cruises this spring on Escape. Not sure why. Yeah. Then they do something like that, Cindy, and then they'll tell us why. Or if they don't, or come up with some phony baloney excuse. And I've said a million times to the cruise lines, be transparent. We're big boys and girls. We can live with change. We've had to. How many times over the past almost 4 years now? Okay, we can live with that. Be honest with us. Just tell us what's going on and what you can do and what you can't do. And we'll roll with it. We all want the cruise. A lot of the details, I don't really care. But I do care when you say something and then you change it or pull it back. Do it the way you're going to do it from the get-go, please. Or if you have to change it, give us a good, logical, sensible reason, not a bunch of bull, you know what. See, I didn't say a bad word as much as I wanted to. I'm trying. Yo, Brooklyn in the house. Hey, Eddie. Good to see you, my friend. Katie Robin would like that. Now, that's pretty cool. And have no, I'll love to visit with you guys when I'm on the road and can work it out. I think that'd be terrific. I don't know when I'll be up in Pennsylvania, but I'll sure as hell call on Kenneth and Robin when I'm up there. Of course. Yeah. I love doing that when I can. I visited with a number of you guys on trips to and from Florida. Not as much as I'd like to. I'd like to do it more, but then I don't want to wear out my welcome either. By saying, hey, Eddie, my mom, going back and forth. Hope school is good. The kids are good. Yeah. Sonny says, yo, Eddie. See, there you got everybody yo-yoing. I love Eddie. That's great. Eddie says he's available to friend. That's cool. Well, I take you up on it come January 29th, my friend. That'll be cool to have somebody to do some film on inspection on that one. I wish I was at the point in the world where I was making enough money to actually take somebody with me on cruises to work, to film me. Sure can't do that when your check from YouTube is like $123 for the month. I'm not like some people, and I won't mention their names, that get checks for 4, 5, 6,000 every month. I could do a hell of a lot if I was making that kind of money. But anyway, maybe one day. Chillie, can you budget for a cool camera system with vlog users like the vlog users use? Can't think of the name of the thing. There are several that I've looked at, and they're in the, $500 range. Right now, no, I can't. But maybe one day, maybe about 2025. If I get up to 10,000 subscribers, and I'm making a couple grand a month, then I could do some of those things. At an income that does not even cover my cost of my computer and the programs that I use. And there's not a whole lot of money, Tom, to spend on things like cameras. I just had to, this morning I ordered replacement parts for my portable oxygen concentrator. $109. That I have to have on cruises. That keeps me, alive. Sometimes I don't use it at all on a cruise, but sometimes I have to. So I have to have that portable unit. I did these last 2 cruises, quite frankly, I did not have the unit in my cabin, the big full, unit. And I did fine with my portable unit. I did fine most nights. I didn't even have oxygen on, which was good. So, between Scoot Around providing the scooter and me then not spending the money on the oxygen concentrator, I saved close to $500 on each of those cruises for the 2 weeks. So it probably saved me close to $1,000 out of pocket, which that's good. I mean, yeah, but still, I spent too much money on the Seascape, the inaugural. That was not a bargain. The New Staten Dam was a bargain. So you mix the two together, I paid about a normal range that, we all pay for cruises, even though I was, solo. So, yeah, if I keep growing, folks, if I keep getting bigger, if I keep, if I one day get to the point that I can make enough from this to pay for some cruises and to pay for things like cameras, yes, I'll be right there with some of the fancy stuff. Not there yet. I keep trying. Now I know I'm going to be here for another year. Maybe I can make some plans. I can laugh about that now, but up until yesterday, I was starting to worry because I'm into my last month of the supply here, and the $11,000 a month that paid for this past year, or most of the year that I was taking it, that ran out in January 1st. So yeah, that was pretty much a big news for me yesterday. Wonderful news that your insurance will cover the treatment. Actually, it's not my insurance, Amy. It's actually funding for the drug, for the Zytiga. My insurance does not cover it, nor does Medicare. So it was independent funding. Eddie's saying hello to everybody. Oops, only a year of extended living. We need to get you to 226. Well, I mean, that's true. Hot air. I only know that I've got a year covered on the medication. Now, I mean, this time next year, we might have to do this whole thing again. The cancer center says, don't worry about it. I said, okay, I'm not worried. So I don't think they want to let the old fat guy die. So they're going to come up with something. And this is all generated by the cancer center. I haven't had to do a thing other than sign a couple forms, provide proof of income. And it's been done. It's all been done over my head. I really haven't had to go begging. The cancer center did it for me. I don't have to do anything. Unlike my pulmonary people who refuse to even try to get Medicare to cover damn breathing apparatus things. What do you call it? Inhalers. $400 a month. I can't afford that. And they won't do anything about it. They won't try to help you like Cancer Center does for this 11,000, which they should. But Hot Air says, hey to Eddie as well. Cindy says, if I don't get the drinks included, it's the same price as the Carnival cruise I was looking at. I think I'm going to jump on it. Good news, Chillie, on your prescription reimbursement approval. Yeah. I'm great with that. Cindy, if you're looking at the same dollars on Celebrity versus Carnival, then I know you're going on some of the nicer Carnival ships too. I jump all over that. Celebrity is a way better cruise from every standpoint than Carnival. And I'm not saying anything against Carnival. It's just, that's a step up. That's a step, celebrities a step up from Royal Caribbean even. They're in the same family, in my opinion. So yeah, boy, if you can do that for the same dollars, oh, no doubt about it, jump on that one. Hot Air Tom might hold the camera upside down and make Chillie ride the railings. Yeah, Hot Air Tom holds the camera upside down. Hot Air Tom's going to get his butt kicked. I will be walking around grumbling under my voice like somebody in the family does. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. I love Cindy. Oh my God, I love Cindy. Pitching hay, I'm picturing Oliver Wendell Douglas. Hey, Hot Air, I've mucked stalls before. Yeah, it has to be done. It has to be done every day. It really does. You don't want your horses walking around and you know what. So yeah, that is part of your daily chores if they're in a barn. Sometimes you have to do it out in the pasture. If they get used to using one area and you want to get it out of that pasture, thrown into another pasture. So, I've had to go out with the pitchfork and clean some areas out of the pasture too. You don't have to do that every day like you do in a barn, but boy, you want to do that in a barn every day. No doubt about that. The turn upside down, Chillie. Yeah, I would. That's correct. Chillie, if you're ever in Pennsylvania, feel free to stop over. No doubt about it, Kenneth. There's parts of Pennsylvania that I'm not allowed into, but there's other parts of Pennsylvania I'd be happy to go into, which is where you are. I'm just, let's just say I wouldn't go back to Pittsburgh. No offense to Jason. Although I did go on the train through Pittsburgh. But yeah, I wouldn't drive into Pittsburgh because of issues there with, we'll go into that one. Kenneth, did I understand you're thinking about booking our epic cruise in 2025? Kenneth laughs. You ask about it, Hot Air. Yes, we did book them, but we didn't book the third one. We didn't realize you guys did 3 in a row. We booked the first 2. That's what we did, was the first 2, wasn't it, Hot Air Tom? We're not on the third. It was 16 and then 11 or something like that. Yeah, I can tell you. I got it right here. Oh no, it's right here. The schedule is Chillie's trip calendar on the old blog site. Yeah, it's 2, Kenneth. We're on March 31st on the epic 15-day transatlantic, and then April 15th, an 11-day. Oh no, wait a minute. March 31st. Do I have that right, Tom? Oh yeah, April 15th. March 31st to April 15th, and then April 15th, 11 days for the Greek Isles. So yeah, that's the 2 that we're on. So awesome. You're on both of those, Kenneth. That's terrific. I might take Cindy's power chair and Chillie and I can race. You might have to take Cindy's power chair for Chillie to ride. I haven't worked out what we're going to do about scooter round. If they'll, I'm sure we'll come up with something. But technically, I'm not going to be, back in the States to return the scooter at the end of the cruise. It's going to be over there in Civitavecchia. So, yeah, I do have to come up with a plan on it, which I'm not worried about it yet. But yeah, because I know that quite often scoot-around scooters are on cruise ships. They might just leave the scooter on there until it gets back in the States, and then get it off the first time it's used here. We'll come up with something. Especially if Scoot Around continues, sponsor me. That would be terrific also. So we will have to see if the room's available for the third cruise. We're not on a third cruise, Kenneth, with just 2. Yeah, Kenny, we're only booked on 2. Not sure where you came up with the third. Once I get my own vehicle, then I'll get handicap plates. But for now, Alice drives the car also, so I have the hanging down sign. Yeah, I've had the hanging down sign. Well, I'm on my second one. And I think they're good for 5 years here in Virginia. So I've had it for 8, 9 years now. But they won't accept those in Florida, on the Florida ports parking. I found that out. Where was I? In West Palm when I did the Margaritaville at Sea. Is where they said, well, normally we wouldn't do this, but because you're right here, just go over there and park in the handicap place, and you won't have to pay since you're handicapped. Okay. She said, yeah, we do that. It's done in all the ports here in Florida. Oh, I didn't know that. So then when I checked into it, I found out you had to have the plates. The guy in West Palm let me because he was a nice guy. But when I called about it maybe in Miami or Fort Lauderdale this last time, when I checked into it, they said, no, you have to have the plates, the permanent plates. I said, okay, which I didn't have them. So I got them now. So that'll be interesting. My first trip of the year out of Florida that I drive to. Notice I say when and not if, but yeah, I will drive to a port because I want to try it now. I want to see how that is going to work, and if I can, in fact, park the car and get on a cruise ship without killing myself. So now, if they have valet parking that's free, that would be terrific, but I don't think that's in the cards. Kenneth says, okay, I thought Chillie said he was going for 30 days. Well, yeah, it's 15 and 11, so it's 26. And then we're doing 2 days in New York is 28, and 2 days after in Rome is 30. That's how I came up to 30, Kenneth. Happy New Year, Chillie and Chillie Cruises family. Thanks, Rich. I appreciate that. Good to see you again. Robin and I are going on the Carnival Sunrise on January 14th. I am looking forward, Kenneth, to see what your opinion is on the Sunrise now. That was the last ship I was on before the shutdown. And I did fine on the Sunrise, except it seems like I was constantly being funneled through the casino, which was incredibly smoky on the cruise that I was on. And that was about the time in my life when, even though I had been quit smoking for, that was probably 4 years or so, then it was starting to bother me to be around a lot of smoke. And yeah, that was the only thing I really didn't like about the sunrise was the smokiness in the casino. Now, again, I had not started looking at it from an accessibility standpoint, so I have no idea on accessibility issues. So I'm kind of looking forward to yours and Robin's opinion of the sunrise. Elizabeth was on sunrise for a couple months, and she did not like the ship, but that was personnel issues as far as the working conditions, and not about the ship. Our Dennis is with us today. Hi, Dennis. Good to see you, my friend. Did you see the video about the flood on Harmony? It flooded Central Park recently? Or was that some time ago? I don't recall a recent video on Harmony. Well, Harmony is one of the ships that I have not been on, and I follow pretty regularly, and also know someone on Harmony. So, yeah, that's normally on my radar if something happens, but I don't recall that, Katie. Jogging tracks on the sports decks are called obstacle courses. They're awful. 50 times around. Yeah, that's about the truth. Yeah, I did that just to kill some time. Showing anything on a ship in a video or short is interesting. Can look at ships all day long. Well, it's providing me with some good numbers and some good traffic. I keep continuing to try to grow. And that seems to be a way of growing. And the other thing, which I hate, that seems to also help me with numbers, is salacious titles. God, I hate doing that. Although I refuse to, clickbait. I'm not going to come up with some ridiculous title that has nothing to do with the main story. But yeah, I'm starting to try to generate more interest and bring more people on board with titles. So, but yeah, I hate to clickbait crap. The cruise lines are only interested in the creators with large subs. And unfortunately, most of those creators are only concerned about their benefits and do not provide critical content. Yeah, that's true. And to me, that's a dishonest service. Because I'm, as much as I would love to have a cruise line sponsor me, give me free cruises or whatever, I will be just as critical about something they're doing wrong as I am on every ship I'm on. So they got to take me as the way I am, folks, especially with accessibility issues. And if there's something that's inaccessible, I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. As Seascape and New Stockton will tell you, especially New Stockton. New Stockton we have regular viewers now on the staff of New Stockton because of what I did, because of what I said, and how I said it. That clearly was not in the problems that I had on New Stockton, much like on Seascape, was not an indictment of the cruise. The cruise, both of the cruises were wonderful. The ships were wonderful. The food was wonderful. The entertainment was terrific. The crews on both ships were fabulous. the accessibility issues sucked on both. Wasn't as bad on Stotendam as it was on Seascape, but still, especially the biggest bugaboo is on handicap bathroom doors. They don't have push button access, and I have to take them by the hand and explain to them what somebody like me on a scooter, and it would be the same on a power wheelchair or even worse on a manual wheelchair, has to go through to get into the bathroom. And it's not pretty. And you're also dealing with people that are in worse shape than I am, that when you got to go, folks. You know, we have other issues in our bodies that, you know, when it's time, it's time. You don't have time to mess around and struggle getting through doorways and stuff. You have to get in there and take care of business, or you're going to have accidents and things. To be blunt about it. But the way I handled it, and I went to them and I said, okay, you know, here's the problem. They didn't understand the problem, so I took them and showed them, and then they understood, and then they appreciated what I was doing in both cases, especially Stotendam, who the boss I don't know if he's watching today, but has watched me on numerous shows because I've had comments from him. I've had emails from him. So, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You know, if I do another Holland American cruise next week and there are issues, I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to say, yeah, this is a problem. But I go straight to the horse's mouth with it. You know, I'm not going to backdoor them. That would be dishonest on my part. You know, I'll let them know what the issues are up front, and then, yeah, I'm going to put it on my blog. I'm going to put it on this channel. So other people that are handicapped, you know what they're dealing with, that they book a cruise on that ship. But it's never an indictment, and it has never been. You know, even Margaritaville at Sea. I loved the cruise. I hated the accessibility. It was horrible. It was worse than anything I've been on. But the cruise itself, for a little short cruise, the food, the vibe, the music, the entertainment, was awesome. What am I doing ranting today? Holy cow. Dennis says, I called out a creator for their pish posh, and they admitted this and didn't want to harm their relationship with the cruise line. Oh no. No, I'm not. I try not to harm the relationship with the cruise line, but I'm going to be honest about their cruises and their cruise ships. That's just the way I am, and maybe I'll never get a free cruise. That's okay too. Cindy says, hopefully you get more followers after the bloggers cruise. Well, that would be nice. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'll be around some of the people that have huge followings, and hopefully maybe go pick up some. That would be terrific. Royal Caribbean requests that all creators that they work with to mispronounce Key SK. It's written out for them. That creators do that. I know it's incorrect, and I know that I have to say Coco K. And I hate it, but yeah, I know. I have to do that too. And no prestige on celebrity. I didn't catch that one, Dennis. Chivita. Did I say that wrong again? Chivita Vecchia. Chivita Vecchia. Chivita Vecchia. Sorry, Dennis. Chivita Oh, Civitavecchia. Civitavecchia. I had two syllables wrong. Civitavecchia. That's a tough one for me. I know, Dennis. Thank you. GoPro is the camera Chillie needs. Just saw a post on Facebook asking if they are sold in NCL shops. Yeah, but you pay too much for them. They're sold on Amazon. It's the best prices I've seen on GoPros because I've looked at them. The camera that's $500 on NCL ships is like $300 on Amazon or something like that. I mean, there's a considerable difference. Just finished checking in for our January 26th Cape Town cruise. Awesome. You're going to be sailing out of Cape Town, and I'm going to be getting on a plane in Richmond at the same, well, not at the same time, because you're going to be 12 hours ahead of me, I think, or 12 hours behind me. I can't keep up with that. South Africa is earlier the same day. No, later the same day. So if I fly out of Richmond at 11 o'clock, you'll be getting on the ship. It'll be something like 7 o'clock your time in South Africa. Anyway, the sea air must have extra O2 to help you. I don't know. I don't know why hot air. And yeah, I still can't walk without getting out of breath. 20 feet, something like that. But I don't use the oxygen as much as I use it here at home. I mean, I'm even sitting here, but I never use it. It's close in case I need it. and I use it all night, every night here at home. But I didn't on the last two cruises, and I did fine. I mean, anytime I go out on my scooter, I got my oxygen unit in case I need it. I don't use it unless I'm short of breath. So if I'm fighting with doors, I can be short of breath. All right, I'm running way out of time here. My voice is also going. Sonny says, neat. Don't know, but I am doing 3 game reserves and ports in South Africa. So expect some good pictures. Brought a new zoom lens for my Nikon a couple months ago. That's nice. And a reminder, if anyone is cruising from Port Miami, if you stay or visit South Beach, Lincoln Road Promenade between Washington Avenue and Alton Road is the true heart of South Beach. Avoid the shops, restaurants, and bars around Ocean Drive, which are the tourist armpit of South Beach. Suez Canal will be cool, and also the tours in, I think you spelled that wrong, Aqaba, Jordan, and Luxor, Egypt. Yeah, I would like those too. We will have to get together in New York and Rome after the cruise. Yeah, well, Kenneth, you'll be more than welcome to go with me and Hot Air Tom to drink wine with the Pope. That's going to be on the agenda when I get to Rome. We're going to go have some wine with the Pope. We could stay 2 days. That's what we're going to do is 2 days, both sides. We should be in New York a couple days early, planning on taking the train from New York, from Richmond to New York. I normally stay at the Intercontinental on 44th Street. time there's a Shake Shack there on 8th Avenue, and not too far from that fantastic Thai restaurant, 1DCM on 9th Avenue near 52nd Street. Thai, I don't think I've ever eaten at a Thai restaurant in New York. If I have, I don't remember it. Oh, Prestige are tarts. Okay. Now I know what that is. Yes, I have it now. Civita Vecchia. And I'll forget it the next time I say it. All right, guys. That's going to wrap me up today. I've had a fun show today. I've enjoyed this immensely. A lot more chat room activity than normal, but my voice is about to give out, so I'm going to call it a day. I got another show to do today, remember? I got the Amigos this afternoon with Amigo John and hopefully Amigo Martin. If not, we'll see what happens this afternoon. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for now. I'll be back at 1 o'clock. That's only in, good heavens, that's in 30 minutes, 40 minutes from now. I'll talk to you soon. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. I'll see you for the Amigos shortly.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.